should never speak about the resurrection without speaking about the crucifixion. To speak about the resurrection without the crucifixion gives you some idea that we can have victory without a sacrifice.
I chose SUM because I truly believe that it stands for its 4 pillars. I graduated with very little debt. I got an amazing education from professors that love what they do and love to teach us all about theology and ministry.
Well, I really love SUM because it's an environment to where we can seek the Lord together, and through our studies and through pursuing our personal relationship with the Lord.
Well, hello and welcome to our virtual campus days, SUM at a glance. We're so glad that you chose to join us today to learn about a little bit more about SUM and to see how SUM might fit your educational needs. We're so passionate about training people who are called to ministry. We're excited that you're here with us today, and we really look forward to helping you develop the ministry gifts that God has given to you. My name is Melanie Francis. I'm the Vice President for Cohort Development here at SUM at our El Dorado Hills campus, and I'm going to be joined today by some friends that are with us. I have Chrislyn with me. We're going to host this event, and we'll get to introduce you to a few students as well in just a couple of minutes.
Yes, like she said, my name is Chrislyn Cox. I am the campus pastor here in El Dorado Hills, as well as the Northern California, Nevada Assemblies of God Hub Director, and I get a chance to work with churches in our area here. We are so excited about being able to talk about what SUM has to offer. We are a school that equips those for the fivefold ministry and being able to allow for them to grow in whatever they are passionate about, and then being able to send them out so that they can do whatever they feel passionate about in their city or in another country, whatever that looks like. We highly believe in, she's going to talk about the 4 pillars in just a second, but we highly believe in what we are able to bring to this next generation, regardless of if somebody's coming straight from high school to us to experience their college experience, or if they're coming and they're in their 70s, whatever that looks like. We have students that kind of run the gamut of age and all that kind of stuff. So we highly believe in being able to equip leaders and being able to be agents of change for their future. We've also been praying for you for many weeks as we've been preparing for this event. We've been doing a couple of these throughout the last couple of months, but we specifically have been praying for students coming into the winter trimester here. So we've been praying for you for a couple of months, and hopefully you have some questions that have been answered by us today.
So as Chrislyn was explaining, we are a ministry school, so we do have one focus, And really, all we do is train leaders for fivefold ministry. We don't have any other types of degrees here at SUM except for ministry degrees, because we really are single focused. And we believe that it's really important to train leaders for ministry in the same way that Jesus did. We see Jesus, when people talked about him, they said he taught differently. He equipped people differently. We see him teaching people theologically, giving them a strong theological foundation for their future. But we also see him equipping his disciples with actual physical ministry skills, sending them out, telling them to go and to pray and to reach people and to heal the sick. But he also wasn't afraid to touch those areas of their life that were personal and that were a little difficult, and to really speak into areas of their life, maybe where they had relational strain or where they didn't understand how things worked in the kingdom of God. So from this, we developed what we call our Jesus leadership model. And we have developed 4 pillars that for us at SUM, those are non-negotiables for us. Our 4 pillars build the foundation for how we raise leaders for ministry are academic excellence, practical ministry, personal mentorship, and affordability. When you look at our academics here at SUM, we do have some great academic programs. We have an amazing team of faculty, most of whom have doctoral degrees, another group of which is working towards doctoral degrees. We've got accreditation from both a national biblical organization, our ABHE accreditation, but also our regional secular accreditation, that WASC accreditation. All of this combines together to give students an excellent academic experience in their classrooms. But the other piece of this is that our professors are also involved in ministry. So they are not just teaching theology separate from actual ministry experiences. They're teaching theology, but they're also physically engaged in practical ministry, whether they're lead pastoring or children's pastors or working with preschoolers right there inside their local church settings. So you're being trained by people who really, really understand what it is. Then we also have these practicum and internship experiences where all of our students get involved in hands-on ministry from the very first trimester that you're a student at SUM. In our undergraduate program, our students do practicums and internships. In our graduate programs, our MDiv students have mentored ministry. It's really an amazing opportunity to combine what you're learning in the classroom with what's happening in real life. And then we really believe that it would be a shame if we trained students in their academics. They learned how to think. We taught them how to do ministry. They learned, how to act like a pastor, but they never really had that transformation in their own personal heart. We really believe that God cares about you as a person and that your own personal spiritual formation is key. And so that piece of personal mentorship, we take that responsibility pretty seriously at SUM. As an undergraduate student, you're going to be paired with a mentor. You're going to have mentoring from your practicum leaders who are seasoned in ministry, leading you along the journey. You're going to have visionary leaders, staff and faculty at SUM preaching chapels for you, speaking into your life, mentoring you. Your academic coaches are going to be mentoring you. So all along the way, there's mentorship opportunities. And we do this affordably. Right. So the goal at the end of the day is to help you get equipped and launched into ministry. But if you have an exorbitant amount of debt, you're not going to be able to do that. But at SUM, we make all of this really affordable for students. What you'll find is that 1 year of a traditional Bible college is more expensive than the entire degree at SUM. So you can complete your entire degree for about a quarter of what other students are paying at other institutions. It's amazing.
Wow, it really is. Just to go off of that, we are actually going to watch a video right now from our academic department on the different degrees that we're able to offer. We could explain it, but it's different to be able to hear it from them. And so we have 3 guests that we're going to invite. So watch this video.
Hello, my name is Professor Peter Hsu. I'm the department chair of the BA in Worship and Music at sum.edu. The program is designed to fulfill your Levitical calling in worship ministry. To be called a Levite is to be set apart to fulfill your priestly duties, both as a minister and as a musician. The program is designed to provide you training in biblical studies and musical development. Biblical studies and theology in worship will prepare you to thoughtfully design worship for your ministry context. You will be a music major, working on your musical skills through music theory, classes in worship leading, lessons in voice, piano, guitar, and other instruments if you so choose, as well as online music ensembles. You will be equipped to leverage music technology in your music making. And finally, you'll then practice all you've learned in the many practical ministry opportunities through your ministry practicum. The BA in Worship and Music is a professional degree that will prepare you for a lifelong journey in ministry. God bless you on your journey.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you talking about our BATM degree here at SUM. My name is Sandy Jo Leonard, and I'm the undergraduate academic dean, and I get the incredible privilege and honor to oversee our 2 undergraduate programs. I want to take just a few seconds to talk with you about our BATM degree and what makes it so incredibly special. We've taken so many great courses and good content and put them into a 124 unit degree, 36 units of general education courses, from everything like critical thinking and world and global history to learning how to write well. We've then taken 18 units of biblical studies like Old Testament and New Testament history and literature and how to study and interpret the Bible. And we've taken 18 units of theology, things like systematic theology, but also Pentecostal theology and what makes us unique as a Pentecostal school. And then we've taken 15 units of applied theology. And applied theology is just ministry. You're going to learn how to preach well. You're going to learn how to evangelize well. And one that's very dear to my heart is spiritual formation. You're going to learn what it means to develop your character and how to grow spiritually in your walk with Christ and why that is so important. You know, our degree really helps to set people up for ministry in the 21st century. We are dealing with 21st century problems and diversity and issues all around us. And so we need people, we need ministers who are ready to take on and tackle those problems. We believe our degree not only delves into the past and Bible and all of that other good stuff, but that it helps to prepare you for the future, for the present and future ministry. So we want to pray with you and encourage you to take that next step if this is where the Lord is leading you. Thanks.
Hi there. This is Dr. Aaron Yom, Associate Academic Dean of Graduate Studies. Let me take a few minutes and explain to you what we offer here at SUM Department of Graduate Studies. First, I am really excited to tell you that we have an MA program in Biblical Studies. It prepares our students for vocations related to biblical education, such as pastors, missionaries, evangelists, and of course, teachers, to enable our students to pursue a terminal degree or ministry preparations. It is an excellent program for all those who want to dig deeper into the biblical truth. Second, we have an MA program in Christian leadership. We have this program to provide our SUM students with a solid understanding of biblical leadership principles and strategies while preparing them to serve in leadership positions in Christian organizations. This is a favorite course for all our practicing church leaders and ministers out there. Last but not least, we have an MD program. MD program is designed to empower our students for vocational ministry with skills of biblical exposition, theology, disciple making, spiritual formation, interpersonal skills, servanthood, and worship leadership. As you can see, SUM Graduate Studies provide our students with many different options and learning opportunities that will help them foster strong kingdom mindset as well as academic excellence. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions regarding graduate programs. Thank you for your time.
Welcome back. We are so glad that you were able to see a couple of the degrees that we're able to offer. So actually, in every single video that Melanie and I do together, we always try to put in some sort of Easter egg that's kind of fun. And if you listen to it, then you actually might get a prize or something cool might happen.
So this would be a great time for you to grab a pen
Yes.
or open up a note app on your phone or something, because we are ready to kind of send you on a hunt that will have a great prize.
It will. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to write down is our email addresses. So my name is Chrislyn, but it's going to be kcox, KCOX @sum.edu.
And I am M. Francis, FRANCIS @SUM.edu.
Perfect. So not only is this an invitation, but it's also what you need to email us. We want you to email us the date for an event that we're having in 2022. I'm not saying 2021. I'm not skipping a year. Just for fun. We are talking about our Mardi Gras event, our 30th year anniversary Mardi Gras event that's coming up. 30 years. It's crazy. We've been around for so long, my entire life, we've been around. It's really cool to be able to see what the school has been able to do. But we go to Mardi Gras every year as an opportunity to evangelize to the city because there's so many people from all over the world that are there. So we are inviting you, but we also want you to send you these dates. And if you do send us these dates, we're actually going to send you a little SUM care package in the mail. So the dates for this that you need to put are February 24th to March 2nd, 2022. If you put 2021, it won't count. No go. Not at all, but we needed to say 2022. Again, the dates are February 24th to March 2nd, 2022.
And this is also your save the date. So we always do this event. So this is not just the 30th anniversary of SUM, it's also the 30th anniversary of our Mardi Gras outreach. So you saw that promo video at the beginning. You got to see a little bit of what goes on at Mardi Gras. Legitimately, last year we prayed for 8,000 people. I don't know if we've ever put the numbers together of how many people we prayed for over the 30 years. That would be like an awesome project
that really
to do.
Our next Easter egg.
I think that's exactly what we'll do. But this legitimately is 30 years of street witnessing, and we want you to save the date. So registration's not open yet, but it will be open soon. And if you go to our website, sum.edu, you can find the Mardi Gras event, and it gives you information about Mardi Gras. It'll show you the video that you watched earlier in this presentation. And also the registration link will go live shortly.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we're not just the ones that are talking today as well. We're going to introduce you to our panel today as well. We have Paul here. He is one of our master's students getting his Master's of Divinity degree. We also have Alex. She is in our BA/BS degree here at the school. And then we have Andreas, and he is in our BATM. So we are going to be asking them a couple of questions in just a moment. But before we do so, we actually don't have a Q&A. So I'm not even going to talk about that because we don't need to. Okay, cool. Awesome. We're not live. We're not live. Okay, everything's fine. I'm editing this video, Matt. You don't have to worry about it.
She's going to be so mad at herself.
I will. It's fine. Everything's good. Okay, then we go to the next part.
So we're excited that you guys are here today. I know that everybody really wants to hear from some of our students. So Alex, you've been here a little more than a year. So you're like a 2.5 year student, I guess. I was thinking that earlier today. So you've had a chance to take some classes and do some practical ministry. So can you explain for us how your academic classes have equipped you for your practical ministry experiences?
Yeah, of course. So even before I was a student at SUM, I was involved with ministries at my church, whether that was young adults, small group community, groups where we did Bible study, or even hosting before our Sunday services. And, I think that I was doing okay in those ministries, and I thought that I was leading well. But as I came into SUM and I really started to take these classes and dive deep and really just invest in my education, I started to realize that I was growing a lot in my practical ministry. I started to realize that the classes that I was taking was actually having a positive effect on how I was ministering to other people, leading other people, and also just presenting the gospel. I had a better understanding of theology, biblical studies, things of that sort, and then even down to how I led. A lot of the classes that I've enjoyed here at SUM were ministry leadership classes, how to lead in the church and as a Christian. And I, again, was just really affected by those classes in a positive way. And I feel that just in the short time that I've been here, I've grown exponentially as a minister of the gospel. And so I'm so indebted, I think, really to my professors and also the community here for allowing me to grow in that way.
So awesome to hear that. I love to hear that you were challenged in your leadership.
Yes.
That's always so exciting to hear that from a young leader.
Right.
You know, that's really awesome. I appreciate that. Andres, you're new here to the main campus.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks, right? Something like
8 weeks, something like that.
awesome.
2 months.
So this is all a pretty brand new experience. And we put you on camera today, but this is a pretty brand new experience. We're so glad that you were willing to kind of step out and do this for us, because the students that are watching this now, they don't know whether they want to step out and start this journey, right? So with this kind of new transition in your life, everything being so new, can you just talk a little bit about what it was like to kind of step into this brand new school, work, even dorm experience here?
Yeah, so my move coming out here to El Dorado Hills was actually very smooth, and it's something I'm like super grateful for. And it's strange to say I'm actually enjoying school. Like these 2 months seem like they've gone by really fast, and it's weird. Like school always seemed to go slow for me. Like now I'm actually enjoying it, you know. And I do like the dorm life and being in the apartments. I like my roommates, and I know they like me too. You know, I don't really give them an option there. Like they're gonna like me. So, and in regards to work, there's a lot of work places around here where I think a lot of students can find a job at, whether it's a grocery outlet, whether it's at food service. I'm currently teaching swimming at a swim school. It's like 2 minutes from here because I did that when I was back home. So it was nice to be able to get plugged in that kind of area, something I was familiar with. So yeah, and so when it comes to just kind of being in a new area, it comes to making friends, I'm really satisfied. I've made a lot of new friends, including the people on the panel here today. And yeah, it's awesome. You know, I've been able to connect with a lot of people here. Everyone's so nice, and everyone really loves each other, and I love them as well. So
Awesome. It really is.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Alex, another one for you. What does engagement look like in both your AA classes as well as your live Zoom classes? Again, the AA classes are classes that are anytime, anywhere. So you can do those throughout the week. And then you sit down with an actual professor during part of it. And then your live classes you take at a specific time. What does that look like for you in your life?
Yeah, of course. So I've actually been able to take both of these platforms. When I first started at SUM, I wasn't working full time, just a part-time job. And so I was able to take full-time classes. And most of my classes, all of my classes when I started out were through our Zoom platform. And I really enjoyed that because Zoom really acts like a virtual classroom essentially. And so it was really nice to log into class and be able to interact with the professors and also the other students that were through Zoom at different cohort locations. So that was really nice. I feel like, online education can seem a little bit daunting, but I really feel like we are reimagining online education with the engagement piece that we have in our courses. And so I loved that, when I was a student full-time and working part-time, to be able to have a more of a traditional classroom setting with the Zoom courses. And now I'm working full-time at the school. And so I'm not able to take my classes like a traditional student maybe would be able to. So right now I'm taking both on Zoom and SUM anytime, anywhere. And honestly, I can't really say which one I like better. This is the first time I've experienced SUM anytime, anywhere, and I love it because I'm able to watch my lessons and I'm able to watch my lectures after work, on the weekends, really wherever I can fit it in. But then I also get that engagement piece and that mentorship piece with my professor during those 30 minutes, which is nice because it's a smaller setting. It's not as big of a group that we have. And so even the students that maybe are not so inclined to speak during class feel a little bit more comfortable because there's about 5 students to 1 professor, which is also pretty amazing because you don't typically see that in a college setting. So I love it.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Cool. Andreas, for you, another one. So you have, because you've only been here for 8 weeks and you are a new student this fall, you've never been to Mardi Gras with us before. What does it look like for you to be in courses where you've never met people that you're talking to? You've never met the students or the professors. I know that you have some live classes as well, but what does it look like for you to not necessarily know anybody in person?
Yeah, so that's different, but I don't think it affects me academically, which I'm talking about right now. And the two kinds of classes I'm currently like taking is first is one, as you mentioned, with a live professor there, one I can engage with, but also I'm on a laptop with Zoom going on with other students who are part of the class.
Yeah.
I prefer those kinds of courses I'm taking right now, just because I like to engage with the professor, kind of ask questions in person. In regards to just communicating with the students, there hasn't really been a problem with that. When we do break out into our breakout groups and we kind of discuss, I haven't run into any issues when it comes to that. So that's pretty smooth. The other kind of class I'm doing is when it's just strictly on Zoom.
Yeah.
And so the professor's on Zoom, including the students.
Yeah.
And as I said, I may have a preference to having a professor live, but it doesn't really affect me academically. And I think most students will find that it's pretty easy as well to just, to have your professor speak with you live, because you can still engage the professor, ask questions that you need, and then the breakouts are the same. You can still communicate with some students. They haven't seen them physically, you can communicate with them, and it'd be nice to be able to see them when Mardi Gras does come around. It'd be more exciting, than encounter them, like, oh, there you are, in the flesh, you're real, So yeah.
That's cool.
Without the little box around
Yeah,
your head.
exactly.
That's so fun. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We are going to actually go to some of our fun facts right now, things that we find that are pretty interesting about our school.
Absolutely.
That are kind of distinctives about what we're able to do. So I have a couple, she has a couple, and then we'll go back to our grad session in just a moment. So we have an accelerated program here at SUM. Instead of a 4-year college, we're a 3-year college. And so instead of having a semester system or a quarter system, we're on the trimester system, and we fit 3 trimesters into a year: fall, winter, and spring. And each of those is 11 weeks at a time. So as you're going through school, that allows you to spend obviously a smaller time in school, 3 years for our bachelor's degrees, and then our master's degrees are a little bit longer. Our master's in Christian leadership is 2 years. Our master's in biblical studies is a 2 to 3 year program, and our MDiv is a 3 to 5 year program. So for our bachelor's degree specifically, it's going to be a 3-year program but it really is a 4-year degree that you're getting in just a smaller amount of time. So that allows for you to spend less money and spend less time, so you can get out into what you feel like God is calling you to.
Awesome. So we also have a special payment structure that encourages students to kind of move along and to take advantage of that 3-year program. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like?
Definitely. Okay, so we have a couple of different things that we do. One is what we call block tuition. So anything past 10 credits, which we consider a full-time student for the bachelor's degree to be 10 credits. So a full-time student, anything between 10 and 16 credits is free. We actually pay for it for you.
Free.
So like free,
So
like
every student, you don't
like
apply
fully
for it.
free. No.
Scholarships for everybody.
It is a scholarship that we want to give because again, like she was talking about before with our 4 pillars, we believe in affordability and being able to get people out as fast as we can with as little or no debt as possible, because we believe in the call that God has on your life. So between 10 and 16 credits is free, which is a gift that we're able to offer. We're going to go into a little bit of this later as well, but we also have benefits that if you have like the GI Bill, you can use that. There are some other scholarships that you can apply for, different states that can do it. I've also found my actual church scholarship me a little bit. So there are options that are within that beyond what our school is able to offer. And then you're going to talk a little bit more about the Pell Grants and all that kind of stuff.
I think I'll do that right now.
She's going to do it right now.
So our idea of fun facts might be a little different than your idea of fun facts, but so one of the things I talked about accreditation a little earlier. One of the things that our accreditation does for us is that that allows us to have CHIA approval, which means that our students can apply for federal financial aid. So all students at SUM, they fill out a FAFSA every year. That's a free application for federal financial aid. You fill that out, you fill out your FAFSA, you enter SUM's student code. So you want to make sure that you enter our SUM code, and that code sends your information to us, and we use that to be able to help you take advantage of the full range of federal financial aid. So if you're not familiar with that, your aid is determined by where you live, how much money you make, how many people are in your family, all of those factors. And then the government figures out how much you are eligible for in both grants and loans. the cool thing about grants is that you don't pay grants back. Grants are free money to go to college if you're in an undergraduate program. And so if you're eligible for a Pell Grant right now, a full Pell Grant is just a little over $6,300. So at SUM, that means 2/3 of your year is paid for. In a bachelor's program with a Pell Grant. And then if you're eligible for Pell, you could also be eligible for subsidized or unsubsidized loans. That has to do with the interest structure, but we really encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities for loans. The other thing is, you may ask, I'm in a graduate program, Pell Grant doesn't apply. You're right, you can't get Pell as a graduate student, but you are eligible for loans, for student loans, and you can still apply through FAFSA, and you can still be eligible for that at SUM. You also kind of mentioned the GI Bill, so we may as well talk about that here. If you have veterans benefits, we take those at SUM as well. So you could contact our financial aid department for more information about that, and they'd be happy to help you with the process.
That's great. I'm going to talk about transfer credits now. We have a couple of different things that we have kind of as like a three-pronged test on what we do for transfer credits. Yes, we do accept them, but they need to be from an accredited institution. So it's not just a certificate program that you've gotten it from, an actual accredited institution, that you have gotten a C or higher in that class. So no D or F you need a passing grade for the class. And then we also need to make sure that you need it in order to graduate for your degree. So that means that if I was in veterinary science or something like that, that I'm not going to bring in all my classes about animals for my bachelor's degree in theology and ministry. I'm not going to need it. I can transfer in one of the science courses. I can transfer in a math course. And also the other prong that I've added to this in the last couple of years is that we only usually need one kind of something for some of our general education. So we only have one class here at SUM, so we're not going to accept 3 classes from another institution. So we're only going to accept what you need to graduate. And so some of those things for our English classes, some of those things can transfer in a couple more, or a PE class will actually be able to transfer as well. So you won't have to take it when you get here. Also, half of your credits need to come from our institution. So we'll transfer up to 49% of something from another institution, but 51 needs to come from SUM, so that when we're putting that stamp of approval on you and you graduate, we can actually say that we've given you at least half of your education in the process.
So that's an important thing to consider. If you're thinking about transferring in, you would send in all of your transcripts as a regular part of the admissions process. We review those anyway. But if you're almost finished with your degree right now, you have 10 or 12 credits remaining, go ahead and finish that and come join us for your graduate program. And we'd be thrilled to help you with that. I think maybe we should probably pause for a minute. And I feel like this is a question that comes up a lot. If you are in an undergraduate program somewhere and you are like me, you are a pre-law major, but called to ministry, and probably pre-law doesn't prep you for a degree in theology, do I have to go back and get a bachelor's degree before I get my master's degree?
You do not, as long as it came from an accredited institution. The other thing is that we've had some students that have chosen to go back, even though they have a bachelor's degree that we could totally have accepted. Instead of going back to get a master's program, they really wanted to get a master's degree. We really wanted to be able to have the opportunity for students, or if they choose to do so, they can go back and they can get that foundation that they would get at a bachelor's level, and then they can go on and do more. You don't need it. So if you would have completely gotten a bachelor's in law, I don't know how you say it, but whatever you would get in law at a bachelor's level, you can get that, you can have that, and then go off and you get a master's here. It's not a requirement that you go back and you have to start all over because it's a different field. As long as you have an accredited bachelor's degree, we will accept it and you can move on to the master's program.
So if that's you and you are almost done with a bachelor's program someplace else, then contact our admissions department and they will help you get ready to start your master's program with us and fulfill your call to ministry that way. I think the one other thing that I wanted to just kind of touch base on was what if I don't have a high school degree? What if I actually didn't complete high school? We have a number of students that come to SUM and didn't actually get their high school diploma. God doesn't necessarily care about that. He calls you into ministry one way or the other. So if you got a GED, we will accept you to SUM. We will kind of help you along with the process and make sure that you're not taking too many credits that you can't handle. We'll help you walk through that process. If you have not yet gotten a GED and you need to look into that, we can help point you in the right direction to get that GED so you could fulfill your ministry call. Essentially, the big deal for admissions here at SUM is that you're called to ministry.
Absolutely. That's awesome. All right. We are going to move to our graduate level questions now. So Paul, you're on the docket for this next part, but I'm actually going to answer a question because I also got my master's degree from here, and Melanie is a current student with us, although she already has a master's degree from another school. Again, another situation where somebody came back to get another master's.
Sometimes you just want a little more education.
Absolutely. And she is one of those people. So Paul, I'm going to ask you a question right now just about your experience with graduate level courses in your AA courses. What does that experience look like for you? With engagement with your professors as well.
Engaging with my professors, especially in AA courses, is giving me like some amazing experience, because I would say, especially the professors in some, they're completely different than the other schools, and they're completely concentrating on the practical side of the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we're engaging about the ministry, so most of the people who are in the class, so they're already engaging in the ministry. So whenever we have the discussion with the professor, whenever we're having the classes, so we already have the questions which are already faced in the practical ministry. So we get to see those questions and we get to solve the answers. We get to solve the questions. So that's kind of one of the important thing. And especially the way a professor treats the students is something amazing, I would say, because he tried to understand, he tried to give them something material, and he doesn't really want you to just write the assignments and get out of it, he wants you to learn. And that's the major part of the course that I really love. So I would say that I've been experiencing a spirit of encouragement from the professors, and especially as some of our students mentioned before, AA classes or something, just they're time flexible.
Right.
So you can just take the classes, you can still be part of the ministry and be part of your work and still take the classes whenever you can. So it's a good thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to use one of your words to answer my own question. So the question that I've asked myself has to do with how you balance your life and work and all that kind of stuff. So I started school in 2014 for my master's degree. I was working full time. I was actually the executive director of a nonprofit parachurch ministry. And so I had a team of people that were working for me as well. And so I didn't have the opportunity to just be in school because I also had a full-time job. So I decided how many classes were good for me. So instead of taking a full load of classes, I was able, actually for the MDiv, which there's 3 classes that you can take to finish your degree within the 3 years. I chose to take 2 at a time. And that was a pretty good balance for me because I also had a full-time job. So the 2 things I learned during that season, I needed to learn how to say no to a lot of different things because I didn't have the ability to be able to say yes to everything. I had to say no to some family things. I had to say no to some friends. I had to say no to some trips. There was just a lot of things that at the end of the day, I needed to work on school because I was paying for it. And I wanted to be able to make sure that I was getting what I needed to get out of it and not just kind of sliding by. The other thing that I learned during that time was that coffee shops were my best friends. I learned that in the environment that I was working in, I couldn't work really late at night at my house because I would get tired. And if I was having to work in my room, I had roommates at the time. Having to work in my room wasn't necessarily the best environment for me just because I needed somewhere that was like a hard surface that I could be in. And I really like coffee shops. So spending time on the weekends or in the early part of the day, finding somewhere that was away from my ministry life and my office there, but also away from my home life there because I was able to do just something different. And I was able to make it work because I don't have a family that is my own right now. I was able to, I don't live with my parents either. So I made those kinds of decisions for me. But I also know that your situation is a little bit different because you had children and family and ministry and all that kind of stuff. So what did that look like for you?
I think balance is key.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you said that. It's so important to find balance. And I think time management is an issue for everyone who goes back to get a degree. It doesn't matter what degree you're getting.
Absolutely.
It honestly doesn't matter where you are in life. If you're just coming out of high school, if you've done some college before, or if you have a little longer of a gap between the last time that you went to school and the time you're starting school now. Just kind of time management is that. So I know for me, I had to really work around that time management piece. Having kids, you said you can't work late at night. I had to work late at night, like wait, get everybody to bed, and then I was able to have some like time to dedicate to study, to work on my assignments and things like that. The other thing that ended up being like my best friend is that I would find places in my life, in my regular daily activities, where I could add a little bit of study. So like if I was taking the kids to baseball practice or soccer practice or whatever, I'd be sitting there with a textbook and reading at that practice, you know. And so finding that those little pockets where like you said, you have to cut some things out. Maybe I wasn't having all the soccer mom discussions that everybody else was having, but I was getting my assignments done and doing the preparation. I think the piece though that was so valuable to me, honestly, is that because I was in ministry, engaging in ministry, what I was learning that I wanted to learn in these classes, I was able to integrate. It was just like a seamless integration into ministry. And it didn't matter whether I was working with adults or kids or teenagers, I was doing all of that. And there was also still this integration into all those areas. And so it was really life-giving to me to be able to do that, and still is. So, you know, if that's something you're feeling like God is stirring your heart, even if you are in full-time ministry, it really adds new life into what you're already doing as you're having more structured study, really delving into the Word in a program like the MDiv program.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you another question, Paul. I know that you've been to other schools in the past. And so when you kind of compare SUM with some of the other schools that you've been to, how does SUM compare in terms of like course load, workload? What does that look like, or how has that looked for you?
For sure, actually, SEM is something different than the other schools, especially regarding the workload and regarding the people treating the students, and especially professors treating the students. And regarding the workload, I would say, you know, in the past schools, I was writing like 10 to 15 pages of assignments every single week. So my main goal is to just I want to get it done, you know, rather than learning something. But here professors are they're able to understand students, and they're able to understand what the students are going through, and they give like, you know, just good work. I wouldn't say it's a heavy load. I wouldn't say it's a low load. It's average work, so that we're able to take a time to meditate upon and learn and take it upon, and just and we can invest the same knowledge into the ministry. And that's one of the greatest things that I've been experiencing since I came to SUM. And the other part is like especially administration part. And every time I go to see people, every administration part, it could be Dr. Munson, it could be Chancellor, it could be anybody. Every time they ask me, Paul, how could we help you to get to next step in your life? I mean, like everybody wants you. I mean, like, you know, just even if I'm not doing anything, they want to push me to go next level. So that is something that I was actually a little bit nervous before I was coming to SUM. But you know, just because I don't know this school, I never been to this school as an international student, I don't know how I'm going to be treated. And so when I came here and when I saw the people, how people are treating me, I think, Lord, thank you for bringing me here. This is a right place for me to be here. And after I heard the sermon from the chancellor on the first day, you know, first chapel, I figured out, you know, Lord, I'm in the right place, and I'm in the right place, and I'm here to do something for God. And I feel like, you know, I'm secured, and I'm surrounded with the community that I could share my intentions and my callings, and who could pray for me, who could encourage me. So that is something I'm so thankful to God for. Yeah,
that's so awesome. That really is. Yeah. Thank you all. We really appreciate you guys adding what you have. And these are new stories for us sometimes too, being able to add what you guys think. And it's one thing for staff and faculty of the school to think that what we're offering to people is something great, but then to hear from you guys what this actually has looked like practically for you. I think it's really important for us to know that, but I think it's also really important for other people who might be looking into the school as well. So thank you guys for your vulnerability. That's awesome. We're going to move into a couple of really important things that we have at the very end. Yeah, just a couple. And then we'll be done.
We've got a couple of kind of frequently asked questions, and we do want to make sure that we cover those. Now, we do also have people that are ready to answer questions. So maybe we should do that first. So if you have questions about admissions, admissions@sum.edu. That's like your best friend email address, admissions@sum.edu. But we also have an office staff that's ready and able to answer your calls. And we have that number that's available to you.
It is 916-306-1628. And our office hours are from 8 to 5 Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So if you have any questions, please contact us then. You can also email us at any time and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can the next business day.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of questions that I'm sure that you want to know. The first one is, when is the application deadline for our winter trimester?
Yeah, so it's November 15th. So as quickly as you can get in, I think it's about just a couple of weeks away. So if you're watching this and it's right before that, it can be that day. Make sure that you get your application in then, and then we'll help you get into our winter trimester that actually starts November 30th. So the Monday after Thanksgiving, which some people would call Cyber Monday. We call the first day of classes.
Yeah, but not at SUM.
Not at SUM. You can buy your textbooks that day for cheaper, but yeah,
I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great. But November 30th for the registration deadline, and then we have our actual first day of classes November 30th.
Yeah. Okay. So if I want to apply,
yes,
how can I do that?
Well, you can go on to sum.edu, really quick, really easy website there. And then you can click on admissions, and then under admissions, it's going to say how to apply graduate and how to apply undergraduate. You can go on there and it'll give you all the steps that you need. There's only 5 or 6 steps on each of them. And then for the BAWM degree, the worship and music degree, there are a couple of extra steps that you need to follow, but they spell everything out. And again, you can email us if you have any questions or call us. And actually, Alex is our admissions specialist here. So if you have any questions, you might be talking to her on the phone or somebody in that department.
And there's one more thing that I hear from students often. A lot of students are concerned right now. Obviously, we're in kind of a strange season.
Yeah.
So people are sometimes concerned about coming to school, committing to going to school, even though we're affordable. It's a lot of money to invest and a lot of time to invest, and not being able to get a job when they come out. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like for SUM alumni?
Absolutely. Our placement rate after graduation is 86%. And that's not just for our main campus, that's for any of our cohorts and internationally as well. So being able to have opportunities for students who are leaving school, they are fully equipped, because we are, just like you said before, we're a One Focus Bible College. We have students that are fully equipped to be able to go out and to do whatever they have been called to do. And so we really want to be able to, I was actually saying this earlier as well, but we have, I have gotten a lot of emails this week about churches that are looking for ministers. They're looking for youth pastors. They're looking for children's pastors. They're looking for executive pastors. They're looking for worship pastors. They just need people. The church is hungry right now, and they're looking for people who are not only called, but they're also equipped. So being able to have opportunities for placement for our students is great. But SUM has become a place where different churches are actually like looking at to say, if you have anybody, please let me know, because I'd love to have an SUM student.
Because our students have that ministry experience, that hands-on ministry experience. So it's really a great fit. So we are just so thankful again that you took some time out of your day to get to know us a little bit, to spend some time with some of our students. Crystal and I always love to host these events and spend a little bit of time getting to know you as you get to know SUM. The one thing that we didn't say, and I think this is like a drum roll. So one of the cool things that we do through these events is that we love to be able to offer a scholarship through this. So you're here with us, you're watching this virtual campus days video. It's been sent to you. So you've clicked on a link and here you are. What does that mean for you if they apply for the winter term and start classes in the winter term? What does that mean for them?
It means you get a $250 scholarship towards your winter trimester. So small, but it's important, because we know that you taking time out of your day to come listen to us speak, although we might be entertaining, you spending time with us. I think we are too. You coming and spending time with us means a lot, but we also just want to pour into your future even more.
We believe in you. We believe in the call of God on your life. That's what we're here to do. And we would love to be able to encourage you along in your journey too. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hopefully we see you in the winter.